When we say the term Kama Sutra, it is actually in reference to an ancient book. You may not have been aware of this fact, as most of the time we talk about Kama Sutra as a type of sex. While this book does guide you through sex by teaching you sex positions, it is actually a guide rather than a style of sex. Often, people will say Kama Sutra sex as if it is a type of sex when they are instead referring to a text. Throughout this audiobook, you will hear the term the Kama Sutra, as I will be mentioning the book and its teachings. You could say that the Kama Sutra is a guide to love and a guide to enjoying a pleasant life with your partner. This book can be seen as a guide to a long-lasting marriage that will help you to keep sex interesting. It will do this by showing you how to benefit from new forms of intimacy. Common misconceptions. Most often, the Kama Sutra is described in terms of wild and crazy experimental sex positions. There are numerous articles, blogs, and magazines that talk about the Kama Sutra in this way. The truth is, however, the Kama Sutra is a book that contains much more than just this. You may have heard of Kama Sutra in conversations about sex or in articles that you read online. The truth is, however, this is a sacred book that was written long, long ago, which contains a guide for anyone who is looking to get more out of their relationship and their sex life. A history of the Kama Sutra. The book The Kama Sutra was written in northern India. It was originally written in the language of Sanskrit. Sanskrit is an ancient Indian language. The original texts that gave rise to Buddhism were written in this language, which shows you just how much history is involved in the Kama Sutra. This book was written sometime around the 2nd century AD, though no one can be exactly certain of when. The Kama Sutra is said to have been written by a man named Vatsyayana, who was an ancient Indian philosopher. It cannot be confirmed for sure if he wrote the entire book single-handedly, but according to researchers, he made a significant contribution to the text. The word kama loosely translates to mean affection, love, and desires. This is quite telling, as the book is aimed at teaching the reader about all three of these factors. Affection, love, and desire are all very important when it comes to a long-term relationship or a marriage. The Kama Sutra includes 7 different sections or chapters. Each of these sections is focused on a different aspect of pleasure. These aspects of pleasure include both physical pleasure and emotional pleasure. Vatsyayana recognized that in a marriage, both forms of pleasure are equally important. Only one of those 7 sections contains sex positions, and the other 6 sections talk about a variety of other topics. These 6 sections each touch on a different category of sexual act or situation in which a couple can achieve a deeper level of intimacy. For example, kissing, touching, massaging, and so on. Since the book was written in a time and place where it was surrounded by Hindu culture, it is considered disrespectful to the culture if the Kama Sutra is taken out of context. What this means is that it should not be read one single section at a time. Rather, it should be seen and consumed as a whole. This is because it was meant to be this way when it was written. The book is meant to be read all at once, from beginning to end. This allows a person to examine it in its entirety so that they can receive and benefit from the full scope of teachings that it contains.